Hi everyone, it's me, Rudy Tanoka from the Magicians Forum, and I'm here to hopefully encourage you to finally take the time to memorize a stack of your choosing. Now, I hear it very often that magicians have a very difficult time memorizing a stack. They think it's too difficult, or they tried but couldn't quite do it, whether that be through brute force or even using Harry Lorraine's system, which is what I use to memorize not just Mnemonica, but also memorize the Redford stack, which I have here. And recently, I used Harry's system to memorize Woody Aragon's Memorandum. I'm just going to plug Harry's book here because it's great. It's the complete guide to memory mastery. What you're going to learn in this book is how to convert numbers 1 through 52, or any number for that matter, into phonetic sounds. So for example, 1 is a T sound, 2 is an N, 3 is an M, 4 ending with an R is an R sound, and so on. And so what happens is a number like 22 becomes, in my mind, none, N and an N, 2, N, none. And so I have that image. And then later on, he has a chapter called It Pays to Remember Playing Cards, which Harry gives you images for the playing card. So you take the image of the card and put it together, doing some action with the word or the image that you have for the number. Mash those together, and you're able to memorize the card and the number because they are fused in your mind through some wild, crazy, graphic image. I'll tell you, it's so good that I've been able to memorize multiple stacks. And what I found interesting about our mind is that you're able to keep the cards separated, meaning that I don't mix up Mnemonica with Memorandum. I know that 11 is the Queen of Hearts in Mnemonica, but I know it's the 4 of Spades in Memorandum. I know that Jack of Spades is 1 in Memorandum, but it's 4 of Clubs in Mnemonica, 9 of Diamonds for Mnemonica, 9 of Spades for Memorandum, and they just stay separate. It's really fascinating how powerful our minds are, and I'm here to tell you, I am not the brightest bulb. I am no smarter than you guys. I have a GED education, so I'm not any different than you, and yet I've been able to memorize multiple stacks. And so when I hear fellas or ladies saying, I don't know, I can't do it, I've tried, it's like, man, what's going on there? And I don't doubt it. I mean, maybe there's a struggle there. Of course, people learn differently. Which is why I wanted to create this video for you using a little challenge, a test of memory by asking my bride, Charlene, to memorize Mnemonica. And I intentionally didn't teach her the principles that I used from Harry because I saw a video on Penguin Magic by Rick Lax called the Mnemonica Trainer, excuse me, where he has some principles that he uses to teach people how to memorize a deck. And in looking at the comments, people are saying, oh, I memorized it in, you know, the time it took to watch the video. I thought, really? Well, I wonder what is he doing there? And so really just out of curiosity, I purchased the video and I didn't even watch it. I just said on the way to Maui on the flight, I asked my wife, I said, babe, would you memorize or go through this video and see if you can memorize Mnemonica? Now, I'm going to tell you, I still think Harry's method is just the best because memorizing Memorandum took me, I don't know, maybe about 2 hours. Okay, and I'm kind of saying that I didn't sit down and just do it all in one piece. We were in Maui, so we were enjoying the sights and sounds bit by bit, about 2 hours time. I'm sure it would have been less having just sat and focused. 2 hours. Charlene, watching Rick's video, was about 5 hours, and his video is about an hour and a half long, so I'm kind of including some of the time spent watching the video, of course, in that. Five and a half hours or so. I just tested her this morning, and I'm here to tell you, she's got the stack down. She ordered a whole, I just shuffled it, I said, put it in order, and she did. So it's going to be an incredible weapon in my arsenal, I'll tell you that. But Charlene memorized Mnemonica. So I'm here to tell you that you can do it. Now, again, I'm going to say that Harry's method is far superior. Why do I say that? Well, because Charlene really struggled with 30 through 52. I mean, the first 29 cards, she had them down. 30 through 52, it was difficult. And the reason why, and I'm going to have Charlene on this video a little bit. I'll take her outside, so it's all stuffy up here. But see, what happened is Rick uses a similar technique as Harry, meaning that he gives you images for each value. So, for example, the number 5 is always going to be the Jackson 5, no matter what, whether it's 5 of spades, 5 of clubs, 5 of diamonds, whatever there's a 5, it's going to be the Jackson 5 doing something. Okay? If it's a club, they're going to be clubbing something or someone. 9 is represented by Hitler, sitting 9, 9, 9. If you have the 9 of hearts, well, that's 17 is in Mnemonica, the 9 of hearts. So in this, you have an image of Hitler reading 17 magazine, and there's some sort of heartthrob that he's attracted to. So you have Hitler and 17 magazine, and they're together. Okay, so that's a good image. But then later on down, like for numbers like 36 or 43, what number would you come up with that could be easily recognized? Well, 2 numbers back to back. I want to say like 43 and 44. He said, well, it's imagine President so-and-so. I don't even remember who the 43rd president is. But 43rd president, who's 44, Obama. And you have presidents. Well, but not everybody knows who the 43rd president is straight away. Or that the number 32 is represented by how many numbers are on a roulette wheel. Do you know? I didn't know. I'm not a gambler. But Charlene had difficulties with cards 32, 36, 44, because the images for the numbers weren't really all that strong. And so she'd have to go, wait, how many numbers? What's the highest score on an ACT? That's one of the things. ACT, I don't even know what an ACT is. But there's a score that you can get, and that's one of the numbers. Well, so you have to think, like, what's an ACT? ACT, what is that? I don't even know. How many numbers on a roulette wheel? Well, if you can't really get the image of the number in your head, you're going to have a heck of a time attaching it to the value. See what I'm getting at? With Harry's system, I just have no problem. I just, if I had, for example, the cat is in my mind, that's an ace of clubs, right? So cat, that's 43 in Mnemonica, that's let's see, ram. So I see a cat and a ram. The ram is hitting the cat, killing the cat. And the image is just really strong in my mind. So there's no struggle for me, and I can go backward and forward. Again, Harry's system is just amazing, and I would highly, highly, highly recommend it to you. At the same time, Rick Lax, there's some value in it. I think the principles that he's using, they're in Harry's books, so I don't think there's anything original. What he's done is given you all the images. He's had an artist rendering of each one, which is really nice and handy. And so I think that there's value in that. And again, Charlene learned the stack by watching Rick's video. What you'll have to do if you choose Rick's way, you're going to really have to rethink those numbers. You're going to really have to figure out images that are going to stick in your mind. So for 44, rather than using whatever it was, I think Obama, 44, when I was in the Bay Area growing up, there was KBHK TV 44, Bay Area Cable 12. I remember it. So TV 44, that's when we had the old school UHF. You'd have to, turn it and all that. Well, you remember that guy saying that over and over and over again, right? TV 44. And so she was able to just have that image in her mind of a TV being clubbed and so on and so forth. She just had to create a different image. So you're going to have to do the hard work of finding a number that's meaningful to you, or an image that's meaningful to you that means something. With the number 32, for example, is there something in your mind? Well, for Charlene, 32, our oldest daughter is going to be 32. So she saw my daughter Christina interacting with the card at that number. So you're just going to have to get creative, and there's going to be some work on your part using even Rick's system, which is why it took a little bit longer. Charlene had to recreate a number of images for cards between 30 and 52. So all of that to say, it is very much, I think, within the grasp of any magician to learn a stack. I would encourage you to do that. Get Rick's video. Better yet, get Harry's. You'll get a lot more bang for your buck. All right. Now, why is it that I chose Memorandum? I already have Mnemonica in my noodle. I tried the Redford stack, which is good as well. I have both books that are slightly out of order, as well as one I just showed you. Really good stuff. But what I like about Woody's stack is that it has Mnemonica built into it to a degree. What I mean is that you can shuffle into Woody's stack from new deck order. You can also get back to new deck order after being put in his stack. You can also shuffle into Mnemonica. Now the black card's reversed, so 4 of clubs becomes the 4 of spades, but other than that, you have all the principles of Mnemonica. So I think that there's a lot of great benefit to Woody's stack, and I also can continue to use Mnemonica. The other reason is that a lot of folks, and again, this is probably not even thinking correctly, but it's something that I thought about. A lot of magicians, they're very familiar with the stack. You know, even when we watched David Blaine's show, when his little girl was doing a lot of those tricks that were really phenomenal, she's smoking people as she's able to tell, I forget what the actor's name, maybe it wasn't an actor, but able to tell one of the spectators every card that he's holding. But as she's rattling off the cards, you go, well, yeah, I know what the next one's going to be, and the next one, because we know Mnemonica, and you realize, wow, she just memorized Mnemonica, which is still an amazing thing, which again should encourage you to do it because she did. So, you know, there's a familiarity with the Mnemonica stack that I think doesn't allow you maybe to fool magicians, which we don't perform for magicians, except sometimes we do. And I recently did a show that was for magicians, particularly magicians from the Magic Castle. And I'm thinking, man, there's one trick that utilizes a stack, and as soon as I start dealing the cards, they're going to know that that is Mnemonica. And I even thought, well, maybe I'll put 2 jokers in there so it pushes the card number down a couple. So when they say 9 of hearts, 17, when they say 9 of hearts and it's 19, they go, oh, well, that's not. But then I'd have to think and add and just, so I thought, what if I also learned a different stack, you know? And again, I would still be able to utilize Mnemonica because I could shuffle into it from this. And Woody has some great principles in here as well. Siamese principle here, which I won't tell you what it is, but there's some great stuff that can be done. So that's my reasoning. And here's what's great. So I memorized memorandum. I already got it in my head. I won't forget it. And I have Mnemonica. So, and I can shuffle into both of them from a new deck. So hey, I got 3 stacks in my head. And again, interestingly, they remain separate. And there's different benefits to each stack. Who knows? I might see this and go, you know, but Mnemonica. I don't know. So I'm gonna wear this for a while and see how it feels. Shuffling into and out of it, I think, is fairly easy. There's not that initial, you know, having to reverse a ton of cards to get into the stack like you do with Guantanamo Breeze. You know, you have to reverse the order of several cards. Well, his you don't, and so again, those are small things in some cases. For some, that's a big thing, how you get in and out of it. So, all right. I probably said enough, but I do want to just show you a couple of things here with Charlene. As we walk through the stack, and I'm going to show you the images that she has in her mind and how she's memorized it, or how some of those cards gave her some trouble. I think you'll find it interesting, if nothing else. All right, so check this out. All right, well, here I am with my lovely wife, Charlene. As I told you, she memorized Mnemonica while we were on vacation in Hawaii. And since we got home, she's kind of been practicing it, but really learned it quite quickly. Not as quickly as if she would have used Harry's system, but she still memorized it. Now, I'm just going to show you that she really does know what these cards are. So, for example, let's see, honey. If I flash this card to you, well, let me show you at home. This card, what would then be this top card, do you know?
It would be the 5 of spades.
5 of spades? Wow, that's pretty good. Let me cut them. Now, here's a difficult one, I think, because this is, I'll just say, is one of the higher cards. So looking at this, what is this card?
38.
38, which then what would be this card?
That would be the Ace of Diamonds.
Ace of Diamonds? Wow, honey, see? So she's got this down, I'll tell you. And we, like I said, she put this deck that was shuffled in order. And she really does know these cards. Now, what I want them to see is that you had some difficulty with those higher numbers. When I tested you up through 29, they were just really quickly. She knew what those cards were. What's the 6 of Diamonds? What number is that?
6.
Wow. 6? See how quickly that is? But if I said, how about the Jack of Spades?
Jack of spades.
Are you sweating?
So,
Jack of
hold on.
spades.
You said Jack of spades. Oh, 45.
Okay, 45. So see, there's reaching there. Now, as I mentioned, some of the numbers that Rick has given images to, they're just not, in my mind, all that clear. So when you have a number like, do you remember what number 42 was? What is the image for 42 that you got? Now, let's start with
What the original image was?
42. Yeah, the original one, because again, we had changed some of these images, but originally 42
was it's a 4.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a Ford.
So it's a Ford,
Yeah,
a Ford
Ford.
truck. And so anytime you see a Ford, it's going to be a Ford truck doing something. And if it was like the 4 of hearts, what number is 4 of hearts in this stack?
4 of hearts is 5.
5. So she would think the Ford truck reaching into its heart, which is weird because, a Ford doesn't have a heart, but you have to create these zany images in your head where it does. So 4 of hearts, 5. All right, but in this case, 42 is, you see a Ford. And then what else do you see?
And it's wearing a bracelet.
A bracelet. So in every case,
the diamond is the bracelet.
So you see, then the Ford is wearing a diamond bracelet. Okay, so there's stuff going on here. That's where you have to use your imagination. So what is it the diamond bracelet doing?
It has like ladies, Broadway ladies on it, and they're driving to 42nd Street.
42nd Street,
Broadway.
and were they doing a little dance with the
Kind of
ish. And then 44, I mentioned this in the video, was Obama. But, they're saying, well, remember, like the 44th president. And then I think 43 was similarly, wasn't that a president who as well?
Yeah.
And we changed that around. So for 44, tell me what the image is that you see in your mind. Because I already explained to them what the 44th one is. But how do you see that in your mind?
It's Hitler clubbing an old school TV that is on channel 44.
That's on channel 44, KBHK TV 44, Bay Area Cable 12.
And I said channel because we used to have to change the channels like
yeah,
that.
See. So again, these are images that Rick has offered in some cases, but other ways we had to adjust and change them to make them more particular to Charlene so that you wouldn't have to reach for them. The other one that was difficult that we did this morning, do you remember which number it was that we struggled with where we were trying to... I'm trying to remember which one it was, but there was one that we had difficulty with. 36. What was 36? What do you see for image 36?
I think that was one of those.
It was one of the difficult
ones.
ones.
No, it wasn't. No, because that's the Jack of clubs.
Jack of clubs. So
that one originally was hard for me to remember because that's Jack Sparrow and the ACT.
Oh, that's the ACT score. Yeah. Again, what the heck?
So I had to memorize that
you just memorized it straight out using brute force. So again, with Harry's thing, I don't have to do that. I just know that it is what it is. 36 for me is match. And so I see a match interacting with whatever the card is. So in this case, it's in my image in my mind, it's the Jack of clubs smoking crack, and he's using a match to light it, which is really weird. It's just the image that I have. Okay, so sue me. Anyway, but again, this is just to show you that you can memorize a deck of cards in 4 hours, 5 hours, 5.5 hours like Charlene, 2 hours like me, utilizing Harry's system, but it's really within anybody's ability to do it with a little commitment on your part and just getting it out of your head that you can't. All right. Good job, my love. Wait. What is this card?
17.
And what is this card here?
The Queen. The King of Clubs.
King of Clubs. Good job. All right. Good job, love.
Sorry.
All right.
So there it is. I hope I've encouraged you to finally take the time to memorize a deck. If you want Harry's book, well, you just go to harrylorainemagic.com. You'll see all his magic books there as well as his memory work. And you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck. I mean, not just memorizing a deck of cards, although that's, of course, incredible, but it'll just help you in all ways, memorizing names and faces and things of that nature. So go and check that out. All right. If you have any questions, or you need clarity on something, please let me know and I'll get back to you. All right. Have a great day. See ya.